Job today is to work out how to push these two mounting points back towards the rear of the car by about 10 mil. Because of the shunt at the back, it's pushed everything forward slightly, and I noticed when we jacked the car up, I probably mentioned in another video, that the subframe started to hang as we jacked the car up, something we didn't really know about. And then after looking, there was no bolts in the 4 rear holes for the supports for the subframe, so I had a look a little bit closer and they actually looked blind, so they weren't lined up at all, so that's got to go back. I've just made this out of 50 by 50 mild steel, just to see if I can create some kind of leverage point, and then I can use the porta power hopefully, and we'll get some movement. If I can't get any movement, I'll cut all this spare wheel well out. This is not required anyway because it's just all, you can't really see, but it's all crumpled and cut here and there, so that's the plan. So I'm going to test fit this, and then you'll see it when it's working. Bracket is in. I'll put a bit of 50 by 50 along both the front mounting points. These bolts, these subframe bolts here, are old, so I'm just using them as a sacrifice, just in case they snap or anything. It has pushed that forward quite a bit, but when I release it back off the pressure, it does spring back. So I'm just going to go into the boot, and in here I think I'm going to just release some of the pressure along this line here, maybe even cut this across here, but I was hoping to move these this bar without cutting into this just yet. But I might just remove this entire floor section here because that's already out. Just cut along there with the reciprocating saw. Boot floor's out, well, the wheel well tub is out. Whatever I do, I'll just mirror both sides, and if it is just a case of saying, well, we've got to lose both the rear quarters to get these boot sections in line, then that's what we'll do, because we're fully prepared for that with the old over fenders there. So yeah, let's get rid of this. Took both the rails out now because it just was springing back still. Obviously there's loads more than just those 2 rails holding them in place, but I think it should alleviate some of the spring back. So we'll just find out in a min, give it another push with the porta power, and then if we can get it somewhere close, that'd be great. I've done like a little yardstick with 2 markers on, so I can put one in there and one in there, and then that's, I know it's not perfect, but it's roughly where it needs to be. All that worked a treat. We are in, fully lined up, no issues whatsoever, and that side will be the same. So the good thing now is rolling, and I can get it hopefully to the house where I can do some of the fab work on it, because I've just started kitting out the garage. One other thing I'd like to do is try and get this boot lid aperture a bit tighter. I know it looks shocking right now. I'm just heating up the panel. I'm going to do a little bit of hammering. I've done a little bit already, but it wasn't very warm. I'm not bothered about the paint. Like I said, it's all coming off anyway. This rear quarter is coming off here, but we're going to try and keep the structural parts so we can keep a seal on the boot, and then hopefully build some kind of boot space in there and strengthen up there and put a bash bar in, blah blah blah. So just heating it up. I'm going to tap it up. I'm going to get a ratchet strap round the entire boot to pull them in. Hopefully I can knock a few bits out. There's one bit I can't get at, which is this bit here. So if you look inside, I can only get to it from in there, which is pretty much inaccessible without taking the filler pipe and cutting this out, which I'm not happy with. So I'm gonna See if I can tap the majority of this out without getting at that. Hard to film this one-handed. I was trying to work out how to get that off from the other side because it's got a little sort of wing nut style cap on it, but there's actually nothing there to allow it to come out. Alright, I've managed to get in there, pulled that big dent out. I did see this back section close together a little bit as I did it, so that's quite good. Obviously these other bits here are so extreme, I'm not quite sure what will happen with those, but I can get the spreaders in there. But I remember last time I tried, it was actually pushing the arch liner inwards, so the actual inner arch itself was pushing in. So I'm hoping that if I can warm up that section there, that will deform first. I have no experience in this, so let's just see how that goes. Just from that little bit of tapping, well, I say a little bit, it was a fair bit. It looks manky, but it's going to be covered. But that line's pretty good now, so I'm happy with that for now. And there's no strap on it at the minute, just so you know, that is completely loose. This side's got a bit of wiggle room. I'll have a look at that. I think that's to do with some crumpling in here underneath where the chassis rail's bent.